Stop scrolling for a second, because this update could move your immigrant visa case months faster than you expected in 2026. If you have been refreshing CEAC, waiting for NVC messages, or wondering whether your family will ever get an interview date, February has delivered a shift that many of us did not see coming. It is not a miracle, and it is not a promise, but it is measurable movement. Thousands of applicants are reporting faster document review, quicker case completion, and earlier interview scheduling across multiple consulates, and that matters if your life has been on hold overseas. Welcome to U.S. Policy Brief. I am Fernando, and my job is to explain what is changing, what is not changing, and what you should do next without hype. This video is general information, not legal advice, because every case depends on your category, your country, your documents, and your background checks. Still, you can use today's update to act smart. I will walk you through how the National Visa Center works, why the pace is improving now, which cases are benefiting first, and the exact steps that can keep you from missing the wave that is building right now. For years, the NVC stage has been one of the most frustrating bottlenecks in the entire U.S. immigration pipeline. Families celebrated a USCIS approval notice, believing the hardest part was over, and then the case disappeared into a quiet queue. You paid fees, uploaded civil documents, corrected translations, and waited with no clear estimate. Many people wrote emails and received the same generic reply. The result was emotional exhaustion because your spouse, child, or parent remained stuck abroad while you watched months pass with no movement. In some categories, that silence was longer than the wait that came before it. February 2026 is not erasing those years, but it is changing the pattern. We are seeing document reviews completed in weeks instead of months, and cases reaching documentarily qualified status faster. More importantly, many DQ cases are moving to interview scheduling sooner because consulates are opening more slots. These reports are coming from multiple regions, and they match what we would expect when staffing and capacity improve. Your experience will still vary, but the direction matters because even a small speed increase at NVC can shorten the total timeline dramatically for spouses, parents, and children who have been separated long. Let's quickly review what NVC actually does, because knowing the steps helps you spot where time is being saved. After USCIS approves an immigrant petition, the file is transferred to the Department of State. NVC creates a case number, collects the affidavit of support fee and the visa fee, and then asks for civil documents like birth certificates, police certificates, and marriage records. NVC also reviews the sponsor's financial evidence to confirm the income requirement. Only when everything is accepted does NVC mark the case as documentarily qualified. After that, the case waits until the embassy schedules an interview slot. When NVC slows down, cases pile up at every stage. A fee payment takes longer to post. A document takes longer to review. A checklist request restarts the clock. Then even DQ cases sit because an embassy cannot handle more interviews. That is why people feel stuck. The bottleneck is not one office, it is a chain. The good news is that a faster chain has a compounding effect. If NVC reviews your file faster, you reach DQ sooner. If embassies open more slots, DQ cases do not sit as long. This is exactly what we are starting to see. So, what evidence do we have that NVC speed is improving? First, weekly applicant reports show shorter times between submission and review. People who uploaded documents and paid fees in January are seeing decisions in February, which was rare last year. Second, more cases are being marked DQ without multiple checklist rounds, especially when documents are clear and properly scanned. Third, some consulates are issuing interview letters in larger waves, which signals that they have capacity to receive cases. None of this guarantees your case, but it confirms a real operational shift, and it is appearing across multiple visa categories. You might ask, Why would things improve now, after so many slow months? Immigration processing is not only about laws, it is also about staffing, technology, and appointment capacity. When offices hire, train, and add overtime, the backlog can shrink. When embassies restore routine operations, interview slots increase. And when officers apply document standards consistently, fewer cases bounce back for small formatting issues. February 2026 appears to be the point where those improvements are finally overlapping. That overlap is what creates the feeling that the system is moving again. It is not perfect, but it is real forward movement again. Factor 1 is staffing at the National Visa Center. During the pandemic years, the Department of State faced hiring freezes, training delays, and budget pressure. Even when offices reopened, the number of trained reviewers was not enough to handle the surge of approved petitions arriving from USCIS. In 2025, the State Department began expanding hiring and increasing overtime. By early 2026, more officers were fully trained and actively reviewing cases. That matters because every document, every affidavit of support, and every police certificate needs a human review. More reviewers mean faster queues and fewer months where nobody touches your file. Staffing also improves quality. When officers are overwhelmed, they may issue more checklists because it is quicker to reject than to clarify. When workload is manageable, reviewers can apply standards more consistently and accept documents that are properly submitted. This reduces the back and forth that used to add months. It also means that applicants who follow instructions exactly get rewarded. In 2026, that detail matters. If you upload clean scans, correct translations, and complete financial evidence, you are more likely to move through without a reset. Faster does not mean sloppy. Faster means smoother for you and your family. Factor 2 is embassy and consulate capacity. NVC cannot schedule an interview by itself. It sends DQ cases to posts abroad, and those posts must have interview windows, staff, and security capacity. In 2024 and 2025, many consulates were still dealing with reduced staffing, local restrictions, and competing priorities. Some categories were limited to emergency appointments. In early 2026, more posts are operating closer to normal. That means more interview slots. And when posts request more cases, NVC can release completed files rather than holding them in a warehouse queue. This is why DQ cases receive dates sooner in 2026. Another benefit of increased consular capacity is predictability. When a post is severely backlogged, NVC may stop transferring cases regularly, which leaves applicants unsure whether progress is happening. When capacity returns, transfer cycles become more frequent and applicants see movement in CEAC status updates. You might notice your case change from at NVC to in transit to ready. Those changes do not mean you are approved, but they mean your file is physically and digitally moving toward interview. That is the step families have been waiting for. More capacity abroad is the key to that step in many posts now. Factor 3 is document review consistency. In the past, many applicants were trapped in checklist loops. A document was rejected for a small issue. You corrected it. Then a different issue was raised weeks later. That created the feeling that the rules were changing without notice. In early 2026, applicants are reporting fewer repeated checklist requests when their uploads are correct. That suggests internal guidance is being applied more uniformly. It also means you can win by being meticulous. Make sure every scan is readable, every translation is certified, and every name and date matches the passport and petition exactly. Technology plays a role too. CEAC uploads are still imperfect, but the workflow has become more routine for both applicants and staff. NVC has also been clearer about acceptable formats, file sizes, and how to label documents. When applicants submit in the expected format, reviewers can process faster. Think of it like an airport security line. If everyone uses the right bins and follows the signs, the line moves. If people bring prohibited items, the line stops. In 2026, careful preparation is the difference between riding the faster wave and getting stuck in an avoidable checklist delay for your case. Who is seeing the biggest benefits so far? Family-based immigrant visa applicants are reporting the most noticeable improvement, especially in immediate relative cases. That includes IR1 and CR1 spouses, IR5 parents of U.S. citizens, and children in IR categories. These cases often have strong demand and clear eligibility, so when NVC and embassies gain capacity, they can move quickly. Some family preference cases are also seeing better movement at the NVC stage, although final interview timing depends heavily on the post and the visa bulletin. Still, document review can cut months off the timeline once a visa number is available. Employment-based immigrant visas can also benefit, but the experience varies. Many employment cases have complex financial sponsorship, corporate documents, and sometimes derivatives, so errors can trigger checklists. When employers and attorneys submit complete packages, NVC can process faster, and that helps workers who have waited years through labor certification and I-140 stages. If you are in an employment category, treat this moment as a chance to tighten your file. Make sure police certificates are current, passports are valid, and the affidavit of support requirement is met when it applies. Small missing items can erase the advantage of speed. Now, a warning that keeps expectations realistic. Faster NVC processing does not remove country-specific delays. Interview scheduling still depends on the embassy workload, local staffing, and security checks. Some high-demand posts may still offer limited appointments, so even if you are DQ, you may wait longer. In addition, visa availability still controls many family preference and employment categories. If your priority date is not current, you cannot receive an interview just because NVC is moving faster. This update is about reducing one bottleneck, not about changing the visa bulletin or the law. Hope helps, but realism protects you. Also remember that NVC speed is only one part of the timeline. Some cases require administrative processing after the interview, and those checks can take weeks or months. Medical exams, police certificates, and financial documents must also remain valid at the time of interview, so faster scheduling can require faster preparation. In other words, this good news comes with responsibility. If your interview arrives sooner, you must be ready sooner. That is why you should use this moment to update passports, gather police certificates, and confirm your sponsor's income evidence. Being unprepared can waste the opportunity created by faster processing. If your case is currently at NVC, this is a critical window to be proactive. Log into CEAC and review every uploaded document as if you were the officer. Check that each file is in the right slot, that each page is complete, and that every translation includes the proper certification. Confirm that names match exactly across passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates, and the petition. Confirm that dates are consistent. If you see an error, fix it now, before a reviewer finds it and issues a checklist. A single mismatch can still slow you down, even in a faster system. Focus especially on the affidavit of support package, because financial issues cause many delays. Make sure the correct sponsor is listed, the I-864 is signed, and the tax transcripts or returns are included as required. If you are using a joint sponsor, confirm that they meet the income level and that their household size is calculated correctly. Upload W-2s and pay statements when needed, and label files clearly. Financial evidence is not just paperwork. It is the government's proof that the immigrant will not become a public charge. If the numbers are unclear, expect questions. If you are already documentarily qualified, the next step is interview scheduling. This is where the improvement can feel dramatic, because DQ used to mean nothing for months. Now, some posts are sending interview letters in larger batches, and some applicants are receiving dates earlier than the estimates shared online. Watch your email carefully, including spam folders, because the interview letter is time-sensitive. Also check CEAC for status updates. When you receive a date, schedule your medical exam quickly, review vaccine requirements, and gather originals of every document you uploaded. Faster scheduling helps only if you can respond fast. If your case was delayed by a checklist in 2025, do not assume you are doomed. Many resubmitted cases are being reviewed faster now, but only when the correction truly fixes the problem. Do not rush a re-upload that repeats the same mistake, because that can create another checklist and push you behind the line again. Read the checklist instructions carefully. If you do not understand what they want, ask for help before you submit. A careful resubmission can place you back into the faster flow, while a careless resubmission can lock you into another cycle of waiting for months. Whenever there is positive immigration news, misinformation spreads even faster than the truth. You may already see posts claiming NVC is clearing every case, that interviews are guaranteed, or that approvals will be instant. Those claims are false. Immigration law has not changed overnight, and eligibility rules still apply. Security screening still happens, and consular officers still make decisions at the interview. Faster processing does not mean automatic approval. What it means is that the system is functioning more normally, and normal functioning rewards applicants who are prepared. Do not let hype make you careless with documents or deadlines ever. Scammers also use good news to sell fake services. They promise a shortcut, a contact inside NVC, or a guaranteed interview date. Be careful. NVC processing is not something a third party can buy for you. The only legitimate accelerators are proper preparation, correct submissions, and official expedite requests that meet strict criteria. If someone asks for money to unlock your case, that is a red flag. Protect your information. Do not share passport numbers, case numbers, or receipts with strangers. Use official websites and consult licensed attorneys if you need guidance. Good news should never make you less cautious. Now I want to speak to the families watching, because this process is not just forms and fees. It is birthdays missed, holidays spent apart, parents aging without support, and children growing up while paperwork sits in a queue. When you hear that NVC is moving faster, you feel hope, and you feel fear that you will miss your chance. You do not need panic. You need a plan. Use the improvement as motivation to stay organized, respond quickly, and keep your documents ready. Hope is useful when it pushes you to prepare, not when it makes you chase rumors. At US Policy Brief, we will keep tracking NVC review trends and interview letter patterns. If processing speeds up further, you will hear it here with evidence. If it slows again, you will hear that too, without sugarcoating. For now, watch 3 indicators: the time between your submission and NVC review, the frequency of checklist requests, and the size of interview waves from your specific post. Track your own case, but do not compare obsessively with strangers online, because categories and posts differ. Stay focused on the steps you can control: accuracy, readiness, and fast responses to official messages always. If this update gave you clarity, help the right information reach more families. Like this video so it shows up for people searching NVC processing time in 2026. Share it with anyone waiting for a spouse, parent, or child immigrant visa. And subscribe to US Policy Brief, because immigration timelines can shift quietly, and missing an update can cost you weeks. I will keep explaining changes in plain language, with no fear and no false promises. Your job is to stay ready. My job is to keep you informed, so you can move when the system moves for your future. Before you go, Comment below with your category and your embassy, and tell me whether your NVC timeline has improved recently. Do not post personal numbers, but share general details so this community can learn together. If you are still waiting on USCIS approval, keep patience, because a faster NVC stage can still shorten your later wait. If you are at NVC now, take tonight to review your documents and clean up mistakes. February 2026 is offering momentum, and momentum rewards people who act carefully. Thank you for watching. This is Fernando, and I will see you in the update. Quick questions I keep getting. Does this mean MVC expedite requests are easier? And should you file one? No. The criteria are still strict, and you need evidence of urgent medical need, safety risk, or severe hardship. Do not file an expedite just because processing is improving. Another question, will NVC publish a formal announcement of faster timelines? Usually no. NVC shifts are often visible only through trends in real cases. So rely on repeated signals, not one viral screenshot. Your best strategy is simple. Submit complete documents the first time and respond quickly to every NVC message you receive. Finally, if you are feeling burned out, remember that immigration progress often arrives quietly, then suddenly. You might wait months with nothing, then receive several updates in 1 week. That is why preparation matters more than prediction. Keep digital and paper copies of everything, and track what expires. Keep your contact information current. If your passport is near expiration, renew it. If you will need police certificates, request them early. If you move, update your address. Momentum at NVC is good, but it favors applicants who can act immediately when an interview letter arrives. Stay steady, stay ready, watch messages.